Hey, what's going on, peoples? This is your man, Derek Terry. I am back here for another season, the fourth season, actually, of I'm Not Complaining, I'm Just Saying. So, um, my show today is very, very special. We're going to talk about businesses, but we're going to talk about a particular property that handles a lot of businesses. So, before we get started, I got my small segment that I call What the Hell is Derek Complaining About Now? And really, to be honest with you, it's not a lot. But what we'll say is with everything we're going on with COVID, let's please keep in mind that there are a lot of businesses out there that are struggling. There's a lot of families out there that are struggling. There are just people that are struggling. So we want to make sure that we have some sense of empathy. I know there's a lot of things going on, whether it's with the election, with COVID, with business, with school, whatever it may be. At the end of the day, we all won. So let's try to be respectful of one another. And if anything, if you're gonna complain, bring some solutions to the table. So as we get started, I'm gonna bring in my special guest and let me see how this works. I'm hoping that it works well. Gonna bring her in. Okay, are we on?
I am here.
Okay. Some reason it seemed like I was on delay. But bringing my special guest, Natonya Thomas. She is make sure I get it right, the assistant property manager for shops at Waldorf Center, located in Waldorf, Maryland, Charles County. So welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. Hi, everybody.
So how's things going with COVID? I know you got kids and you're dealing with virtual like everybody else. How's that going?
It's a new role for me, being a teacher at home and managing a shopping center that's dealing with COVID. It's a lot like everyone else, but we're navigating it.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna get started. So just it's a quick overview. How long have you been in Charles County? What actually brought you here to Charles County?
So I've been in Charles County for 10 years. I found out about Charles County because my aunt retired from Charles County Public Schools. That's what brought her to Maryland. So we used to visit the county all of the time growing up. And it just was a place that I knew I wanted to settle when I had kids. So when me and my husband had our children, and especially when they were getting into schools, we decided this was the place for us.
Okay. So, as I mentioned before at the beginning of the show, you're the assistant property manager for shops at Waldorf Center. So, can you briefly, describe where it's at, and as well as a typical day for you?
Uh, a typical day is, and any property manager would agree to this, it's like running around with like a chicken with his head cut off. You're going in so many different ways. There's never a planned day, but it can be anywhere from merchant concerns to reviewing financial data to leasing calls to calls with my corporate, the owners, and I go so many different ways. Even community concerns. Right now we're running a food bank, or it's not a food bank, but that's where they package up. So we do a lot of community outreach. So we have our hands in that as well, conversing with the county for permitting, and it goes on and on. You
Okay.
can never plan your day out.
And for those, because Waldorf in particular has a lot of strip malls, or call them strip malls. So
Absolutely.
where exactly are you located, and what are some of, I guess, the stores, in case people are like, you know what, I still don't know where y'all located, but it's like a couple stores that are like, oh, okay, I know where you're at.
So our anchors are Michael's, the Christmas tree shops, LA Fitness. Usually people know where the Party City is because it's the only party place. I think there's one small one in La Plata, but it's only Party City
And,
close.
and for those never heard of Party City, it's not a club.
It's not a club. It's not a club. Wait a minute. It's a club during Halloween.
Oh, it is?
I have to disagree with you.
Oh,
Everybody in the
okay.
county is there.
I don't know about this Halloween. We'll see, but
We'll see.
but so we had mentioned this Halloween, which brings us to COVID. So what was your initial reaction when COVID came and the governor, for the most part, put a temporary shutdown? What was your initial reaction?
I
from the
had
business side?
it was a mix of emotions because my heart went out to my merchants. I've built friendships with a lot of the owners, and them coming to me and not knowing what was going to happen with their business because they were being shut down was heartbreaking. Trying to be emotional support to them was heartbreaking. Not knowing what was going to even happen with our shopping center was hard. But on the other side, I have a family too, so I understood that side. I didn't want my kids to be, I didn't want to be around it myself. So I was happy it was closing down for the well-being of my family, but for as a business standpoint, my heart was broken. I mean, there was just so much fear. Calls came in back to back with people being nervous and scared about what was going to happen, how we were going to handle it, and it was hard.
Yeah, because I know that was a real touchy time because you had those, and I'm pro business, but I'm also pro health. So,
Mhm.
we're dealing at the early stages where, to be honest with you, nobody knew what we were getting into. And
Right.
you initially close down anything, there's going to be a
Yep.
financial hardship that's going to impact someone in a negative way.
Hmm.
So how did you keep your tenants engaged or keep the spirits up if you could during this unprecedented time?
I mean, we kind of had to roll with the punches. Before everything closed, literally days before everything closed, our thing was, we had a lot of merchants calling saying they were scared to come to work, especially employees because they didn't know what was going to happen. So we started putting sanitizing procedures in place. We started buying stuff so that we can have everything clean and, donating stuff to the schools. We do a lot of that also. And then when everything closed, we had to shift to a different type of support, ensuring that we would be there for them financially. Most of our tenants have gotten some type of relief from us. I can't speak to specifics, but most of our tenants have gotten relief from us. Trying to promote them on our own, just doing things like that to make them feel comfortable. I mean, even sometimes just it being a call and letting them have a vent session. We did what we needed to do. We like to think we're like a family there, especially with our tenants. We have personal relationships with those owners, and there's a lot of owners in our shopping center who live in the county, so it's very personal to us.
Yeah, and that's definitely understandable. And I remember, right at the beginning that, like me and some others, we're trying to do our best to promote the businesses with some
Hmm.
free advertising, whether it's through, a
Yep.
page that I
Uh-huh.
moderate, Charles County Community Forum. There's also, I think, one that dealt with restaurants, which was,
Right.
I forgot what it was called.
I'm
But
part of it. I know what you're talking.
yeah,
I actually, and we spoke before about it
yeah,
too.
yeah. So
Yep.
I think there was a lot of people really trying to do their best to keep these businesses afloat. But
Hmm.
unfortunately, we know some um, couldn't hold on. So, I don't know if you're at liberty to talk about it, but did you lose some because of COVID?
Not because of COVID.
Okay.
Everybody knows Modell's is closed now. We
Okay.
just lost Modell's, but they were already closing before COVID.
Okay.
So it wasn't COVID related. Outside of that, no, we've been, knock on wood, we
Okay.
haven't lost anybody. We've really been trying to be an emotional support and a financial support to our tenants so that they can stay in business. This was out of their control.
And I think that's a good thing because there's been a lot of stories nationwide where you just have some bum landlords. They just don't care. They
Hmm.
evict you, and to me, it sends the wrong message because if you don't have some sense of, and I understand they got to make money, but if you get rid of them, who you gonna put in there? So it's not like
Right.
everybody's going through the same thing. So it's glad that your organization did something not only keep them engaged, but to also try to lift up their spirits as much as you can. So you know,
One thing I would like to say, go
okay.
ahead, I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
One thing I would like to say, and this is not just for my shopping center, but I've noticed just from talking to other business owners, a lot of the reliefs that are available from other landlords has to be requested, and it has to be directly requested. So I've noticed in the county, just because I engage, um, business owners need to request relief from their landlords specifically for COVID.
Why wouldn't they? Well, do they know that, or they just choose
I don't
not to? Or
Well, I don't think a lot of people know. If you're a small business owner, you may not know what the procedure is. So, you're hit with something like COVID, and you may email them and say, "Hey, I can't pay my rent right now, but I could pay it in 10 days," instead of saying, "Is there a relief available to me?" For us, we kind of were upfront and saying, "Hey, you could do this," but not all landlords are going to do that. So I've been trying to tell not just my center we're taking care of, but people in other centers, hey, request relief
okay.
and say for COVID.
All right, and because I didn't know that. So, if you're a business owner out there and you're in a different shopping center, whatever it may be, you know, if you're not going to know until you ask. So, try to ask for that relief. I don't know if it's available, but you won't know unless you ask. So that's
Exactly.
good information to know. So as we are slowly approaching phase 3, we're in phase 2 right now.
Hmm.
There may be some, I guess, potential for some business owners out there, or those entrepreneurs who want to venture and say, hey, you know what? This may be the opportunity for me to start my business or move my business. What advice would you give to a potential business owner, looking to lease the space with
I would say don't look anywhere else. Come to us. Uh, no, everybody's needs are different. So there's not any type of advice I can give that's going to be across the board. I would say come talk to us. Let us know what you're looking for, what your goals are, what your vision is, and then we can formulate a plan for you based on your individual business.
you? Is there anything that stands out that I guess as far as advice you would give someone, some things not to do because maybe someone told them the wrong way or told them the wrong thing? Is there anything like for instance, if you're coming in, don't come in with cash. I don't know. I'm just throwing something out there.
Come I would say, and this, I probably will get in trouble for saying this, but
Well, we
come
don't
in
want to say it. Well, we don't want you to get in trouble.
well, no, this is come in with representation.
Okay.
I think that a lot of times small business owners try to do it on their own.
Yeah.
You need some type of representation when you're dealing with commercial real estate.
Yeah, and I agree. Even with residential, because even with my wife and I, although we got a new home, we had a real estate agent because
Well, I'm a real estate agent, so I'm
yeah,
speaking from that.
yeah. And people say, of course, the developer or the makers of the house don't want you to have it because they're going to cut into their percentage. But I'm like, look,
Right.
I look at the real estate agent as our attorney
Hmm.
that knows the ins and outs of this and making sure I'm getting the best deal that we can
Right.
get. So
Exactly.
I appreciate, and I give him a little shout out, Dr. Bowman. He was our real estate agent, but he looked
Oh,
out
I
for us.
know him. Okay.
My frat brother. So
Yeah.
but he looked out for us, and it was a new home. So and believe me,
Mm,
we had an issue, and I'm glad that we had him because we
yeah.
would have been in a bind with a new home. That's a different story for a different
Hmm.
day. So
Well, yeah, and he's awesome. He actually did work in my house. I know him.
okay,
He's awesome.
so he getting free promo too. Hook me up. I'm just kidding.
I'm an
but
agent as well. So no.
But lastly, before we close,
Mhm.
what is coming to the shops at the Waldorf Center that you can tell us about?
Okay, so that I can tell you about, Quick Way is coming here. We've signed a
You
lease
said
with
quick
Quick
way?
Way. It's like a
Okay.
Japanese
Okay.
style
I thought you were
restaurant.
saying you can tell us in a quick way. I was like,
No, it's called Quick Way.
quick way. Okay. All right.
Yeah, and then Rockin Toss has also signed a lease with us, and they'll be working on their space soon as well. Rockin Toss is like a seafood roll place.
Okay.
They have
And
a few. They have a few different locations outside of the county. This is the first one inside of Charles County.
okay.
We have some other ones that I can't mention, but if you stay tuned, we have some big ones coming down the line. We're fingers crossed coming as well.
Okay. Well, hey. Well, I definitely appreciate you coming on the show and in our start of our 4th season. So, and if there's, I guess, any advice or anything you would, or anything that you want to tell people about the shops, what would you tell them? Outside of come visit. I know that's always, hey, come visit the shops. But what is it you could tell them when you compare yourself with other shops?
Well, I look at our shopping center as the center of Waldorf. That's what we're trying to be. We're trying to be have more community engagement, to make it more than just a shopping center, to make it more of an experience. If you remember, we did the huge fall festival last year. We had over 1,000 people there. We were hoping to do it this year, but obviously we can't. But one of our main goals is community engagement. We don't want people to just come to shop with us. We want them to stay there. We want them to feel like they have somewhere to go in the county outside, not going to the harbor or everywhere else. We want them to be able to stay home and enjoy your community neighbors.
Yeah, and I do recall a couple events that you had out there in the parking lot. I think it's in between Panera and Wendy's in that area right there.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. So,
and as soon as COVID is over, we're back on the show. We're going to start doing more with the community. We love to hear from the community, to hear what the community wants us to do. Let us know. We are willing to do whatever it takes to bring us together.
Okay. So how can they get in contact with you or the shops if they have a leasing question or if they just have a question in general about the shops? How can they get in contact with you?
Come on by. Yeah, that's the best way. We are located right between Five Below and Dollar General. It doesn't look like anybody's in the space. There's white film on the window, but we are there. So
Okay.
coming by is the best way.
Okay. And what are you have COVID hours or you have regular hours?
We are open from 9 to 5.
Okay.
You could also go on our Facebook page, the Shops at Waldorf Center, and send us a message from there. I'm always checking those messages. There's several ways you can get in contact with us.
Okay.
And let us know, we love to hear what you want to come to the center. We love to hear what you want to see from us. If there's an issue, we want to hear that too. Anything you have to do, just send us a message.
All right. Well, once again, I definitely want to thank you, Natonya Thomas, the assistant property manager at the Shops at Waldorf. Their office is located between Five Below and Dollar General, and they're from 9 to 5. Or you can go on Facebook with the Shops at Waldorf.
The Shops at Waldorf Center.
Shops at Waldorf Center at Facebook. So once again, we appreciate your time. And hey, if you're not shopping right now, get on out there and get shopping. If not, you can go tomorrow.
Shopping.
All right, just get the shopping. All right. But once again, thank you, and we will be in touch.
Thank you.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.